It's like GPS for your life, the Sky Vibe Show. So, you've been feeling like me, feeling yucky. Mercury is now, I hear, out of retrograde, but I still don't feel great. Thomas Miller, Judi Diamond, the Sky Vibe. Thomas, help me out here. Why am I not feeling better?
Well, this goes back to where we are in the alignment in the sky. We've been talking about that in the last couple of episodes. We are in a very unusual period right now. This is not typical. In fact, you have to go back quite a ways, and you can't find the exact alignment of what we have right now. But in the sky, the planets are all bunched together right now. Now, we talked about this in the first episode and the second episode. There's a big circle around the Earth. It's called the ecliptic line. You can get online if you want to see an image of it. Just Google ecliptic line and look at the images, because a picture's worth 1,000 words. And you'll see.
Maybe we'll put a link in here in the comment section. Or the blog
we could.
Of this
but
podcast.
it's an easy search up. But right, so typically the planets are just dispersed around that circle. You might have a couple up here and then a couple over here, and usually they're across from each other and they're at right angles to each other. Not right now. Since about February, this thing started, all of them started coming together. And right now, as we're recording this in late April, they are all in what's called there's a terminology for it created by a guy years ago called a bundle pattern. And that means that they are literally in a bundle, and there's just not a lot of distance of piece of that circle. So think about hyper-concentrated energy.
What are we, because I mean, when Mercury was in retrograde, which we're just now finally coming out of, it was as if that wasn't enough. I thought, okay, it's direct now. Everything should be great. No, it's not.
What happened this spring is it started with the eclipses. And we had the lunar eclipse in late March, the solar eclipse, which was visible there where you were. You got to see it, didn't you? It was
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you get to see totality?
I was 99%. The traffic was so bad I couldn't get to 100, but close enough.
Really? Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It is an incredible, just an incredible phenomenon of nature. And it was an incredible astrological eclipse as well. And then right after that, we had just a couple of weeks later, we had two planets that are big, significant planets. And I'm not going to go into the details of it right now, but a lot of people heard about this. Jupiter, which is everything about expanding things, and Uranus, and some people say Uranus, and some people say Uranus, and I say Uranus because I'm an audiobook narrator, and you have to pronounce things correctly. And Merriam-Webster and Dictionary.com both agree on Uranus. So I just chose,
I like Uranus. It
we're going to
sounds
go with
prettier.
Uranus, so that's why. But any of those names actually are acceptable. That's the planet of surprises. It's like, boing, surprise. Hey, I'm going to knock you off your feet. Something came up. And I got to say, too, I'm in there with you because in my own life, something happened in early March while all of this stuff was moving toward these eclipses and everything. Something happened that really knocked me off my feet. Totally out of the blue, totally unexpected, and very deep and very significant. So I know a lot of people in this early 2024, first, second quarter of the year are just like, when is this going to end?
The heaviness. That's what it is.
Are you still feeling that?
I'm feeling the heaviness, and yet it's really strange, Thomas, because I feel this heaviness, and yet all of a sudden I've been getting creative like crazy, and things that have been in my head. I've been writing, journaling. I've been writing. I do a lot of writing with podcasts. I'm doing a series that I'm writing, a noir, and boom, it's starting to really
coming back.
That would be Jupiter. Yeah, that would be Jupiter, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is a couple of things. For those listening in more real time right now of 2024, what we're going to be experiencing is a lot of this stuff has been in, you mentioned Aries in our last episode. Aries energy is intense. So let's just stop with that. Aries is all about intense. It's firepower. It's so there's been
the warrior too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's all about war. In fact, here we are, right? I mean, how close are we in the world today? Now, the other piece of the bundle, so Aries is a big part of it. The other big part of it is Pisces. And Pisces,
that's my moon.
That's your moon. And it's just as opposite of Aries as you can get. It's, can you see the clouds? Wait a minute, there's a war going on. Yeah, but the clouds are really beautiful
They're so
right
beautiful.
now. Like,
let me go write a poem about it.
Done
that.
Pisces is more, it's a water sign. It's ethereal. It really doesn't care about conflict. It doesn't care about
No,
the
it's
war.
more, water signs tend to be a little more connected to spirituality world.
Very much so. And Pisces is dreamy. It's out there. It's like I've got a big Pisces signature in my own chart, and I get it. I mean, sometimes it's like Earth to Thomas. We need you down here for today, Thomas. Because your head is in the clouds. So put that together and then think about what you've been feeling for the last 2 to 3 months.
It nails it. And I will say something, if you're new to this, to astrology at all, I've been listening, Thomas Miller has 3 podcasts I've been listening to for quite some time. And I listened to an old one you had way before the pandemic, way before. And I don't remember if it was Fun Astrology. I think it was Old Soul, New Soul. I'm not sure. But on your podcast, way before, you were talking about where the planets were going to be in the year of the podcast. And I kid you not, we'll have to find that episode and share it. It was like you were Nostradamus. I mean, I listen to that and go, whoa. So when you think astrology can't kind of tell you what might happen with planets, think again.
Yeah, it's been big. It really has. So what's getting ready to happen is all that intense firepower, Aries energy is getting ready to move next into Taurus. And then by June, it's going to be in, like the sun will then be in Gemini.
Oh, wow. Communications,
etc. And by mid to late June, we're going to have the sun and Venus and Jupiter and even Mercury in Gemini. Okay, what does that mean?
Wow.
Well, let's just break this down. Gemini, first of all, is a planet of communication. It's think of the sign of Gemini. It's the Roman numeral 2 is what it looks like, and it's the sign of the twin. So there's more than one. Now, sometimes that can be divided, or sometimes that can be together with multiple options. But we're getting ready to, in other words, do you hear, thin this out. We're not all bunched up. There's not this one primary dominant energy that's controlling everything, and it's heavy, and it's not organized, and it's partially in the clouds and partially here. That's why you've been distracted. That's why projects have been hard to get off the ground, and that's why there's been this oppression. All of that's going to thin out over the next 60 days. Thank the heavens, right? It's like,
and I love hearing Taurus. I used to not know that I loved Taurus as much as I do because, I was reading the paper, and let me tell you, Taurus is a great sign.
Taurus
I'm
is
stopping.
Taurus is the sign that kind of governs your relationship. So I know you talk on KLOU a lot about your relationships and your dating and all of that. Well, Taurus is the sign that is in charge of that. So you need to pay a special attention, and what you ought to do is really be on your game for about the next 30 days because you're in it right now. This is it. This is what it looks like. And then it'll be another year before you're back here. So if you want to capitalize on it, bingo, right now.
I think I've gotten to the point now where I want to capitalize on me and getting to know me and getting a better me. And so if it takes the bull to get that, and that's what this is about, is to getting to the best you and your highest timeline, as Thomas is very famous for saying. I love that. Or whatever you want to call it, shift
your reality.
Life.
Up your game. Up your game.
Up your game.
I like highest timeline. It just has a connotation of every area of your life. If you're living on your highest timeline, that means you are living every area of your life at your highest potential. And I just, that's a great mental image. And I go, that's what I want to do.
And enjoy the journey, which Thomas always says. I have a mug from Thomas that says enjoy the journey. That I don't know if you still have them. They were great.
Yeah,
but
they're still there.
That's part of it. When you're living your highest timeline, you're not only enjoying your journey as you, not as your ego, but you're also then going to naturally be part of the collective to lift everyone up.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's where this can help. That's why astrology is not woo-woo. Guys, it's the ultimate ticket to know where the strongest energies that are affecting you now are in the sky that can help you. So Judi right now needs to be focusing on relationship. Now that can be with somebody else, or what's the most important relationship we have, Judi?
The one in the mirror.
Their own self. Exactly. Yep. So focus on that this Taurus season. And then as other energies present themselves later, when you go, you know what, I'm a better me now to put back out there, voila.
And I think that's what this year for myself personally is about. And it could be exactly what you need for you as your, I think everybody should work on loving themselves. And
aren't we all feeling that more? Yeah, sure
yes,
are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I love all the new generation that's going to be born and the generation, the Alpha, the Gen Zs that are seeing through the BS and getting to who they are and want to learn how. So welcome, all ages.
You know, the younger folks, younger than us, they are so wired for success. They are going to be great. And the world is going to need them because there are a lot of big challenges ahead. But this generation coming behind us, Judi, is equipped to handle it.
Definitely. And we just need to be around to be their shoulders, to be their help, and let them help us.
Here's something real quick, and I know we need to wrap up, but Neptune, the planet that rules Pisces, we were just talking about Pisces. Neptune is that same thing about that. I've got a buddy that's he's a Kundalini yogi guy, and he's really big into Kundalini yoga. And he says like what Neptune represents is your connection to the home office.
I love that.
You've got an open channel to the home office. Well, Neptune is right now in its own sign of Pisces. Like we were talking, well, that's a double hammer. That's a double
And
connection.
we're in Aquarius right now. That's age of Aquarius too,
now,
right?
Neptune moved in there in 2012. So a lot of you have kids who have been born since 2012. And you just look at that precious child and you think about back to how you were, or even people that were born before that, and you look at that child and you go, you know what, this one is different. Yes, they are. The saints have come marching in, as my author friend and partner Stephen Forrest says. The saints have come marching in since 2012, and they are here to help. And as he said, if you just follow the characteristics of Neptune and Pisces, there are a lot of gurus and spiritual teachers and wizards and a few drunks and drug addicts mixed in that have all come in. But the idea is that the team is here to help this planet shift.
Thank you, Thomas. Beautifully said. Make sure to follow Thomas Miller's other podcasts, including Fun Astrology and Old Soul, New Soul. And you can also find out about getting your own astrology readings. Thank you for listening.